Hey, this is Sean Whalen. Don't go out there, it's scary, but do listen to the Don't Go Out There podcast. You won't regret it.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, guys, jumping to the film review. We're going to be taking on another one of Dana Tucker's legendary blood donor picks. Can't thank you enough, Dana. Really appreciate your contribution to the show. It helps us out, help us pay these bills. She chose 2018's He's Out There. Basic thoughts from me. Got to be honest, I think the movie is just kind of mid. It's just okay at best to me. I think the acting is okay, but there's just a lot of problems I have with it. There are some tense moments that I did appreciate, but it's just, tropey, does nothing new, does nothing different. It kind of, to me, it's in my notes, see my scene breakdown. It just kind of pulls from things that we've already seen, and I'll touch on that later, but it's worth like one or two watches, for the show, but I'm not going to watch this again.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really care for it that much. Sorry, Dana, I loved your other picks, so it was bound to happen, right? I don't hate it by any means, but it was just the writing for me, like the writing of the characters. I don't know if being a dad of a small daughter has anything to do with it, but I've seen a lot of people online dislike the kids in this movie, and I vehemently disagree with that. I mean, the kids are realistic, 100% realistic with their choices, with the way they act, everything, in my opinion, especially the little girls. It's the mom who made just idiotic choices, poor decisions in this movie, and it's not Yvonne Strahovski. She's great. It's just the writing of Laura, I think. And Dustin's going to bring up where we definitely know Yvonne from on the show anyway. But anyway, sorry, Dana, but I'm doing scene by scene, so you don't have to hear me hate on it or anything all evening. Not that I would anyway. It's just one of those, man, okay, I watched it movies. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm kind of on the same page.
Yeah, so for me, this is one of those movies that I kind of want to like more than I do. And, there's a couple movies that fall into this category. I like Home Invasion. I've said that on this show before. As far as just like, not popcorn movie, but like it can be enjoyable because it is a little tropey. It's a little over the top. I like some of that Home Invasion stuff. This does some good stuff. Like there's some really tense moments involving the kids, the mom. Like I think there's some good shots in here. But like Nico said, it is very tropey. Like it does a lot of stuff I've already seen. And what's interesting is I watched Hush probably 3 weeks ago, and that's like fresh in my mind still. And comparing the two to me is night and day. Now, I don't think this movie's bad by any means. I just think it's kind of there. I do have some problems with it. Some of the logic behind the killer is not fleshed out well enough for me. And you know how I feel about motiveless killers. Like I think if it's done correctly, I think it's the best approach. Why are you killing just because I fucking can? In this movie, clearly they're wanting to give the killer a motive, give him a story, and I don't think they do a good enough job sticking that landing for me. It's fine. it's not bad, and I do apologize, Dana. But I feel like I've said that about a lot of your movies, which is not anything against you, just my taste personally. I do think it's okay. As someone who's a big fan of the home invasion subgenre, it didn't hit for me like some of the other ones.
Yeah, I had never heard of this movie. After watching it, kind of wish that was still the case, with all due respect. I don't think it's very good. I have a lot of issues with it that I'll get into with my scene by scene. My biggest issue, though, is the character decisions. I get what you're saying about the kids behaving like kids, and it's believable. But literally every other character decision is annoying to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like the look of the film. I didn't like the look of the movie. I didn't like the feel of the movie. It was not a very good movie. Now, that being said, it's far from the worst thing that I've watched even this year. But I think it's just we say things are ahead of their time. I think this one's behind its time. If this movie came out 20 years earlier, we'd be like, oh, that's a pretty good B movie. But in 2018, I think we just expect more. At least I do. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan.
All right. Well, I'm going to be doing the scene by scene. You guys got anything else you want to say before we jump into it?
No, sir.
All right, let's do it. We open up seeing the after effects of something that we've not seen happen yet in the movie, as we get a voiceover of either Abigail or Anna Niaski, who are sisters in real life as well as on the movie, reading a story about the darkness playing hide and seek, and it's admittedly creepy as hell. Actually, I think it's probably Anna playing Kayla. We see Kayla playing with her doll and see their mother, Laura, packing up their SUV, turning her back to Maddie, who nearly gets herself fucking killed. We find out their father and husband, Sean, will plan on arriving later to their remote lake house due to work, and will be there at midnight at the latest, as they will be going ahead. We see shots of the girls traveling while getting the credits, highlighted by illustrations from the book. When the three arrive at the lake house and Laura finds herself having some issues with the lock, area resident Owen pulls up to help, and we learn he calls himself something of security round these parts as he helps Laura open the gates. Owen mentions that the family who previously lived in the house had a son named John who was slow-witted and went missing. That may end up being important later, who knows. We see Sean buying the girls gifts at a gas station as he calls on speakerphone and lets them know that he's on the way. Laura tells him to hurry and that he will get lucky, and asks him to buy some eggs. We then see Laura leave her cell phone in the car, as one normally does, and go inside to unpack. She lies on the bed, and we hear the girls outside swinging as Maddie jumps off, sees a string, and asks, "What's that?"
All right, yeah. Big props to the little girl Kayla, played by Anna how do you say her last name? Panowski. Reading the book, starting the film off. I wish I could read the scene by scene that fluidly, so shout out to her. Ominous visuals starting the film off, ropes, crashed vehicles, blood. It puts me in an uneasy mood right off rip. And I guess I disagree with Dustin a little bit off rip as well. I like the color saturation of the film. I couldn't find anything specific on it, but I thought it looked nice. Already not getting a good feeling of where this movie is going just based off of the title and the fact that the dad isn't arriving until much later in the night. Square body Ford showing up randomly to a house in the middle of nowhere. I gotta admit, it gave me some Strangers vibes at first. Really odd that Owen shows up randomly and knows how to unlock this padlock. Possible red herring, who knows. Exposition dump from Owen about the previous family situation. This is a nitpick for me, but it's hard for me to believe that Laura and her husband didn't know about the dark past of the home already. I mean, give me a break. I chuckled at the cashier asking Sean, "So what did you do when buying the gifts?" I thought that was funny. And I know Brian audibly groaned seeing the overhead shot of the trees for 5 seconds for no reason at all. Man hates a good nature shot. And of course, the girls follow this odd string and not tell their mom. This isn't good. I thought it was a decent opening, and I'm still invested in where we're going for now.
Yeah, I actually really like this cold open here with the narration from one of the daughters. I do think the ominous score in the back makes it pretty creepy. And we've talked a lot on this show about creepy kids and how well done that can be. And this, kind of made me feel uneasy for what we were getting into. I actually kind of like the exposition dump here a little bit, Nico. But like I touched on in my open, we don't get a whole lot more than that. And then at the end, we don't get a whole lot to kind of sew those things together, or at least not enough for my liking. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, they kind of made this marriage seem not fractured, but distant, and they never really went back to touching on that, I don't think, either. So maybe that's just my reading of the situation. Obviously, Dad's got to go to work sometimes. Trust me, I get it. I'm just throwing that out there that's the vibe I took from it in this scene. I will say I got all kinds of weird vibes for Mr. Owen here because stranger hunky guy shows up to kind of be, Mr. Nice Guy. I don't know where I thought it was going, but maybe mom falls for him or he's overly nice. Nope, we don't really see Owen again until like there's 18 minutes left in the film. Super odd, but a red herring, like you mentioned, for sure. Not to spoil anything too much, I guess. All of this seems like pretty normal stuff, and I'm invested. I do think they've done a pretty good job of layering a creepy score over all this, like, normal stuff. I will say, I'm not a big fan of the red string. Unless I just absolutely missed it. They don't explain anything deeper about the red string that I can recall. So it's just like this guy's playing Goose Chase. Like, I don't know, man. Like, the red string thing was just kind of strange for me. I don't think it worked. But yeah, I mean, not bad so far. I am invested to kind of find out what else is going to happen because I can tell we're getting set for a home invasion film, which I normally enjoy.
Yeah, right off the bat here, we get an error. Virginia license plates have 7 digits, and the crashed SUV we see only has 6 on the plate, and that's consistent the rest of the way. So I think I wouldn't notice. You're wrong. Not a fan of the color grading used in the movie. Nico, I know you said you liked it, but it looks dark and grayish, and it just makes it feel like a cheaply made-for-TV movie to me. I feel that way 90% of the time when I see movies that look like this. It takes a very strong story and strong acting to overcome that for me. It was really common in the early 2000s, so it's kind of odd to see it in a 2018 movie to me. Pretty slow and generic early on here. Nothing really stands out. Woman takes her kids on a trip. Dad can't immediately come with them. There's a random guy at the destination setting up a red herring. Generic, ever-present score. I'm not really a fan of the score most of the time in this movie. But at the end here, I don't know, man. Seeing a red string on the ground outside wouldn't make me say, "What's that?" as a kid. Like, it wouldn't pique my curiosity at all. Doesn't seem very likely. And I agree with you, Mike. I don't care for that whole thing. There could have been a number of other ways to lure kids into the woods to your fucked up tea party, but instead it's the red string that was literally, when they saw it, it was just laying on the ground. It's not like it was stretched out over to the swing set. It was often like, I don't know. I don't like how they discovered it. Well, I'm along for the ride though, so hopefully the movie improves.
You're right. They could have just easily missed it. I didn't think about that. I mean,
Well,
then what?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of my big qualm with the red string. They show it, maybe one more time, and then that's all we get from it, and they don't explain. Like, I think they're just, as an audience member, I'm just supposed to assume a red, like a child would be like, "Ooh, a red string," which that part's not believable to me. Like, just this random red string laying in the ground that may be tied to a tree. Like, all right, maybe you pick it up for a second, but I don't think you're following it all the way back like that. I mean, that's just me. So I found it very odd. I mean, it's a cool idea in theory, but they don't follow up on anything with it.
Yeah. It was a long ass nature shot. I'll just throw that out there too.
Great shot.
The girls
Great lake, by the way, too.
The girls began to follow the long red string into the forest, but we don't see what they find just yet. Instead, we cut back inside where Laura notices that she doesn't hear them playing anymore and begins to panic inside a little bit, going outside only to find them walking up to the front door. The girls begin to get dressed for bed at what appears to be like 4 p.m. in the afternoon or something, when Laura notices Kayla put something into the dresser but won't tell her what it is, only that she saved it for Daddy, and she decides to let it go. As night falls, we see the girls cuddled up next to their mom on the couch as she reads the same book that we heard read to us in the open. We also see that they've just finished pizza and Maddie did not eat anything. She complains about not feeling good and asks to go to bed. Laura continues to read to Kayla and notices a drawing. Accusing Maddie of drawing it, Kayla says it was already there, but Laura blows that off too. Later that night, tucking them into bed, she notices Maddie is running a fever, but doesn't give her any medicine. Oh no. She just makes her go to bed and goes downstairs and starts chugging some wine and grabs a cigarette. Okay. Surely dreaming of what her life will be like in the future when she moves to Miami and meets a guy named Dexter Morgan. But anyway, Shauna interrupts her daydreaming with a call to the landline. as she gets the best reception of all time on one of those things, walking all the way out to the dock while she's talking to him, realizing she left her phone in the car and still not retrieving it, while she was out there. On the way back inside, she thinks she hears something in the woods but ignores it and goes to bed. In the middle of the night, Kayla comes in her room and awakens her to tell her something's wrong with Maddie. Laura rushes to the playroom where she finds Madison throwing up, vomiting up a small piece of ribbon with the word hello written on it. We see what really happened in the woods where the girls find a tea party set up in the middle of the forest where there were 2 cupcakes on the table. Maddie ate hers, while Kayla saved the other for her dad. Laura rushes upstairs and finds the cupcake. She tears it apart, finding a green goo and another ribbon with the word goodbye on it. She rushes to the phone as Kayla cryingly asks what's wrong.
Mama Laura finally decides to go find her kids. The loud thuds on the porch and the girls being there, that was just anticlimactic to me. Just an observer, I appreciate seeing Mama reading to the girls. Spend time with your kids, people. Maddie, sweating her ass off in bed, and Laura asks, are you hot? I don't know, but that cracked me up for some reason. I couldn't believe Mama Laura didn't ask Kayla about what they did when they were gone, honestly. Every parent I know would have asked the other kid with them, like, what happened out there? But I don't know. I'm not a parent. I'm just nitpicking, I guess.
Terrible choices.
I appreciate that confirmation. Sean is an asshole. Damn, man, have a moment with your wife when she's talking about how beautiful the lake is. Jesus, man. You know a parent isn't playing around anymore when they call you your real name, your full name, Madison. You ain't Maddie no more. Mama Laura is worried. This puke scene, it makes me want to puke. The hacking, reaching into her throat. I hate that shit. It almost... Bleh. And these girls got zero parenting advice on how to live. Why would you eat a random cupcake in the forest at a tea party? I know they're kids, but give me a break. Zero judgment score on the Madden rating with these kids.
Yeah, man. Like, even, we're kind of harping on the red string, so I do apologize. But even as a kid, I probably would have given up on that. Like, all right, man, I'm done following this shit into the woods. I don't want to play with this no more. I just wasn't that curious as a kid to follow it that long. And I do think finding the tea party stuff is interesting. Like Dustin mentioned, there could have been a different way to get them there, because I do think that's good. I think that's creepy. There's a good way to do this tea party in the middle of the woods thing and have it be very creepy and ominous. And I just don't think this one worked as far as the setup. Now it looks, like a tea party, and that would be creepy if your kid stumbled in on that. Man, you guys already touched on it, but I'm not saying you have to watch your kids 24/7, but at a fucking random lake house? Nah, dog. Like, we got to have some kind of parental supervision. Like, I hate to judge a parent, because I do think Laura redeems herself later, but, like, it's still tough. Like, it's not it wasn't a good day at the office for her. That's all I'm going to say. The minute she starts reading this book, I'm like, why are you reading them this book? This book is creepy as fuck. So another bad parenting decision. Like, these kids are about to go to bed. Like, what the fuck are you reading this book for? This is some Babadook shit right here, man. And I wouldn't have slept after that book either. At that age, big facts, I would not have slept. And you mentioned it, Nico. Sean, what are you doing, Bubba? One, hurry up. You fucking run around the store trying to get a music box. Okay, fine. 2, man, have a moment with your wife. Like, she's really trying to connect with you. Like I said, they only half-assed touch on this, like, fractured marriage thing, in my opinion. The daughter gets sick. I'm not going to lie. If I would have gone into the woods and found shrooms, I would have ate them too. I mean, what do you want me to do? Oh, cupcakes. My bad. She ate a cupcake. Probably would have eaten the shrooms, though, if I saw them. Just me. I will say the little thing saying hello as it pulled out her mouth was fucking creepy. And I did like that. But again, how, why, where, when, like, just a little bit more explanation, I guess. I have a hard time. And, sometimes I can suspend my disbelief for this particular film. It just wasn't clicking for me in that way. I needed a little bit more explanation, at least.
Yeah. Okay. I see a string on the ground. I probably don't even notice it, let alone follow it. But if I did, yeah. I'd definitely follow it all the way, though, because what the fuck is that? How long is it? Where does it lead to? Why is it there? Butter toast, where does it come from? Or butter sausage. Yeah. I'm okay with that part. So
yeah, man got the yarn from Hobby Lobby, brother.
I'm fine with him following it in there. And then, okay, oh, Hannah. Can I call you Hannah? I had such a crush on you and Dexter, and here you are, still looking gorgeous as ever. Anyway, Yes, Brian, you mentioned that's where I was going to mention that we saw her before. Uh, Definitely alarming, though, when you look outside and not see your kids where you last saw them. She kind of took her sweet ass time looking for them, though. So I don't know about that. She didn't really rush out the door. She is kind of, oh, where could they be? Fuck out of here. The score is finally useful to me and effective here after she tells the girls to change clothes. The cut to the woods and the intense score is very well done in establishing a new tone here. And the wind picking up was a nice touch, too. So there's a positive. Some more creepy stuff as we hear sticks crunch and see movement in the shadows after her phone call with Sean. Little girl puking up oatmeal and then puking up what I thought at first was a grasshopper. That was tense. Turns out it was just a piece of ribbon that said hello. I don't know. To me, that was way less tense than it should have been. A killer planting a ribbon with a message on it in a child's throat is way too unlikely for me to get behind. I would have accepted some kind of black magic voodoo before I accepted that. I'm supposed to believe a killer bakes muffins? Come on. I don't know. I'm not loving it so far.
Good point. And yeah, Laura sucks. Laura tries to call 911, but the landline's down, and the girls hear some very unsettling, loud noises from upstairs or perhaps on the roof. Laura decides now is finally the time to go grab her phone, runs to the kitchen to grab a knife. She makes her way slowly out to the car where she cannot locate her cell and instead finds Maddie's strange doll in the back seat wrapped in some pink wrapping paper, which he bakes and has wrapping paper. That's funny.
Yeah.
She runs back inside and grabs the very scared girls with the intention of leaving. The trio make it out to the car despite hearing giggling and nearly being struck by a rock, I guess, that busted out the back windshield of the car. As they drive away, however, two wheels fall off of the car, and that's kind of funny. I don't know why that's funny, but it was funny. Obviously loosened by someone, and they run back inside the cabin where she checks the girls for injuries. She notices that Maddie's throat is starting to swell up and leaves the girls in the kitchen to run to the bathroom and back with some Benadryl. While Maddie takes the crushed up Benadryl, they hear banging on the windows, and when Laura investigates, she finds a picture taped to the window of the family with everyone's face scratched out except for hers, which we never find out anything about. Like, why? Why is everybody else scratched out but her? Anyway, we cut upstairs as Laura puts shoes on Maddie's, or just ties them, I'm not real sure. And we see her look outside where we see a large masked man standing outside in the yard waving at her. And did I hear right? Was her plan to go outside and stand there and wait for Daddy to get home so that he can see them? Great fucking plan, Laura. We cut to Sean finally pulling up to the gate. The key doesn't work, and he notices a note pinned to a string reading, "Follow me." Assuming it's a game put on by the girls, he begrudgingly gets out of the car and begins to walk into the woods. And as a dad, I felt that too. It's like, goddamn, I'm tired as fuck, man. I don't have any time for any fucking games. Oh, I felt that. Go ahead.
That one felt a little personal. All right, one thing for sure, Laura isn't a cheater. She doesn't give a damn where she leaves her phone around. The tension thickens as Laura goes to her car, but I wish the coinciding score wasn't playing. To me, this would be so much more intense just to hear her and the noises around her. Big oh shit moment for Laura finding the doll from inside, now wrapped up and in the vehicle. I'd be in full panic mode now if I were her. Poor woman has to deal with two crying, panicking kids too. My stress would be higher than a skyscraper right now. I wasn't expecting the tires to roll off. That was an unexpected twist, which I liked. But the demonic giggling, as said on screen, I thought that was cheesy. Is giving your child Benadryl a good idea right now? That stuff slumps me really quick. Is she trying to tote around a sleeping child with a potential murderer out there? I hope that's a non-drowsy version, but the math ain't mathing for me on that one. And yeah, seeing the family portrait and everyone's face scratched out would have me terrified. The kids, like Brian kind of mentioned, are acting like kids, but Lord, them asking all these questions would overstimulate me, work my nerves. I'd be ready to just fucking snap. I would be terrified if I was Laura. This is the nightmare of nightmares for a parent. Sean, he can't be this dumb. The gate is locked when his wife said it would be left open. Laura's not answering the phone, and some heavy-breathing mofo did. And you're following this dumbass note and string? Dumb husband in a horror movie trope kicks in now. Go ahead, Mike.
I was about to say, you say Sean can't be that dumb. No, motherfucker, he was that dumb. I hear the noise on the roof, and every time I see that, I'm either thinking Santa or Fiddler on the Roof. The William Shatner one from Family Guy. No one else? All right, cool. Anyway. Man, I'm riding all the way the fuck out if I see this doll. I don't care how flat my tire is or what's going on. I'm all the way out. Not here. Here's the part where people are talking about the kids. I'm assuming the daughter is like panicking. That's how probably a kid would act. I completely understand. But in this moment, I need her to toughen up. We got to get the fuck out of here. You know, you're screaming, you're yelling, you're drawing attention to us. We got to leave. We got to get out of here. I will say, once they realized the car was a no-go, going back inside the house is probably the smartest thing. Because for a minute, I thought they were going to run off into the woods, and I was going to get pissed. I was like, I do not need no long-ass chase scene through the woods, knowing goddamn well that shit's a bad idea. So good on Laura. Finally did something right. She went back into probably the safest place, although you could argue maybe not. But anyway, I do think that they do a decent enough job here building some suspense and tension in this house. Feels a little bit drug out, but the fact that it's a mom and her kids, I do think helps with that. I mean, I am invested at the very least in this. I think the picture with everyone's face cut out is pretty creepy and well done. Like probably like the creepiest part of the film, in my opinion. Like I do think they execute that really well. Now, again, zero explanation as to why. Only Laura's face is left unscratched. Like, can someone explain that? I don't understand. Never gets explained, at least that I remember, but whatever. Again, we have Sean here kind of walking around the woods, like I said, the dumbest fucking thing you could do. I would have already shit my pants, but then again, I wouldn't have been walking around the fucking woods around at this house at night like a dumbass. So for once in my life, I could have saved myself from pulling a me on Dustin's porch. Not that night, brother. Rumple mints.
Oh. Mama, what's wrong with her? I don't know. It could be that she just ate a random muffin that was sitting in the woods for God knows how long. Just a hunch. Going out the door unarmed after hearing the ruckus on the roof and finding ominous messages and baked goods, that's a bold choice. And by bold, I mean fucking stupid. But I guess you can figure nothing will happen to her yet as we're only 31 minutes into the film. The stupid-ass giggle from the woods was so dumb to me. Hated that. Little girl screaming, "No, I'm scared." Probably should have briefed her on the importance of stealth before heading out the door. She yelled at the top of her lungs outside. Okay. And I've heard of driving a car until the wheels fall off, but this puts a new meaning to it. The overly dramatic zoom on the girls' faces when they see the picture was something. I laughed. It's like it was soap opera. Like they zoomed in on the girls' faces to show that they were shocked and scared. Yeah, don't like that. A couple things about seeing the man outside. One, how did the little girl know someone was out there? And two, why was he standing there waving his hand like a doofus? Didn't come across as scary to me at all. Looked silly. Then, Sean, nice of you to join us, dickhead. Bro called Laura, heard her phone ringing. Then when someone answered it, just stood there like a dolt instead of walking towards where it was ringing from. Then his dumbass followed the string instead of walking towards the house. If I hear the phone still ringing at this point, I'm thinking something is wrong. Like I'm calling out for her. She's not saying anything back, but her phone's out here. So I'm thinking, oh shit, something's happened. I'm going to make sure that my family's okay before I go on a fucking scavenger hunt. Not looking good for this one for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. Sean calls Laura's cell phone and hears heavy breathing on the other end. Trust your gut, man. Something isn't right. But instead, he follows the red string deeper into the forest. He tries calling Laura's cell phone, like you guys mentioned, and hears it ringing in the distance. When he gets closer to it, he sees wooden mannequins standing around the tea party as the masked man appears and kills Sean off screen. Back in the house, the girls hear more strange noises, and the man behind the mask apparently has a talk boy from Home Alone 2 because he recorded Sean's voice and uses it to lure Laura outside. But it is raining men outside. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote that. But it's raining men outside as Sean's corpse falls from the roof. And just the sheer strength that it would take to get a dead body on the fucking roof, by the way. Maybe he has a forklift around back. I don't know. But we see Sean's dead body and notice, like the picture, his eyes are gouged out. Damn Jeepers Creepers got him. Or Ric Flair, I guess. Laura runs back inside trying to console a screaming Kayla, who saw her daddy as we see the lights go out. But instead of the Undertaker's music, we get the girls running outside. But when they do, they find the same wooden mannequin doll things that we saw earlier, but This time they're related to Chris Benoit, I guess, as we find them hanging from the trees and all kinds of other shit.
Hmm.
Eggs are thrown at them as they retreat back into the house, barricading one door with a stool while Kayla reminds her mother of the picture they saw earlier drawn in the book. The female mother type doll, I guess, is thrown into the house at them through the window, and the girls take off upstairs. While upstairs, they lock themselves in the bedrooms, and Laura begins to break down while trying to remind the kids and herself that they just have to wait until morning and it'll be okay. The three hug when she notices eggs in Maddie's hair and remembers Sean has a car. She tells the girls to get in the closet and count to 20 while she runs downstairs to get the keys. She obviously has never seen the rules from Scream. However, as she tells them, she'll be right back.
I don't know what model phones these are, but my goodness, they are the brightest ones on the market, hands down. The thing's brighter than my future. The figures Sean finds are horrifying, and the masked man is scary looking as well. Albeit the mask isn't super original to me. It looks very Town That Dreaded Sundown or David Cronenberg and Nightbreed. It's still creepy though. Laura moving at a glacial pace through the house made me angrier than it should. And this is an effective, terrifying reveal, dropping Sean's corpse from the roof. I do agree. It doesn't make any damn sense because you're going to get that heavy dude up there. All right, whatever. But it was a cool reveal. Kids are working my damn nerves. Listen to your mom, man. Jesus. And, well, that drawing in the book just got a lot creepier, and the killer here just went full Jason Voorhees vibes, chucking a body through the window. I like that a lot. And, okay, Mama Laura, if you don't want them to leave until you get back, why count to 20? I don't get it, but okay. That's all I got, Mike. Go ahead.
All right, man.
I mean, exactly. What do you think? It was only going to take you 20 seconds to get down there? What is that about?
Fair. Oh, man. Bye-bye, Sean. I just knew it was going to happen. I'm not going to lie. I fell for the red herring because this whole time I'm thinking, this is Owen, right? Like, got to be Owen because I kind of forgot about the kid he was talking about in the beginning. So I'm like, oh, this handsome fella's doing this, man. Come on. He's kind of a strong, handsome man. What can I say? Fuck it, man. Anyway, not that that's weird to any of you guys. Don't worry about it. Then Laura does the one thing our show tells you not to do. She goes out there. Don't go out there, Laura. Nope, she goes out there. Well, the knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Shout out to Crocodile Dundee, baby. Anyway, I will say the scene with like his phone hanging there and it's his voice is good and effective. But how did he have, like, I know he was on the roof, but like, how did he have time to do that? Like the leap in logic I have to make. So I want to explain my position briefly as I can. When I suspend my disbelief, 9 times out of 10, it needs to be a movie I'm having fun with. There's nothing fun about the subject matter of this film. So if we're going to make a movie this serious, I do need some logic there. How did that happen? I don't know. I keep asking myself that in this movie. I will say, having the eyes carved out is a fucking brutal way to die. Now, maybe he died and then he carved the eyes out. I don't know. But I think it's a cool look for a kill, for sure. Man, these kids are screaming at the wrong time. I know they're kids, but could you not scream for just like 10 seconds so we can not have attention drawn on us? I will say the hanging doll there is creepy, but again, no explanation to how he just has stuff around, lying around, hanging around. Oh, he's been kind of living out here, waiting on these people to come back, waiting for the right time that we get that explanation later. But I don't know, man. It seems a little convenient. I love how the mom just kind of, this doesn't happen that often in a movie. It seems pretty real. Just kind of gives up and is like, yeah, we're going to lay it here until the morning. For a little bit, I thought that's what she was going to do. I was like, oh, wow, I wonder where this is going because that's odd. You don't see that very much. And the reason I thought that is because, like I said in our review of The Mist, I just can't imagine leaving my kid in this life or death situation. Smart, or it ends up being kind of a smart thing in the end, I guess. But, like, not me, brother. Not me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, finally, 46 minutes into the movie, we got action. Creepy-ass dolls in the woods and a psycho in a gimp mask wielding an axe stalking the dad. Hell yeah. But we cut back inside the house without a kill, so I'm disappointed. Especially because we know he killed him. He was right behind him and Buddy was clueless. Dropping his dead body off the roof after luring her outside with a recording. That was a nice touch, though. That's some real psycho shit. Taking your 2 small kids outside with 1 flashlight, and that's it. That doesn't seem smart. Your best bet is probably hole up in the house. Don't go out there, as Mike said. Then you see what you think is people swinging on the swing set, and that doesn't send you the other direction. Like, you go towards them. This whole family's some dummies. And then 20 seconds to get outside to the car and back. Be fucking for real, lady. We got action, so I guess it's improving.
Laura runs downstairs and moves the couch from the doorway, grabs the keys from Sean's corpse. At that moment, we cut to Owen, arriving at the house too, I guess, to investigate the commotion. He's outside walking around with a light and notices Laura tapping on the window. Tapping. She doesn't fucking try to break it. Nothing. Just screaming at Owen just enough to catch his attention and distract him while the masked man, John, I'm just going to call him John because now that we see Owen, we know it's not him at this point, right? So John buries an axe into his fucking head. He then points at the girls through the window and walks away. Downstairs, Laura finds the doll in the kitchen along with a storybook altered with handmade pages, obviously depicting John's plan to kill everyone. As they prepare to leave again, John unexpectedly breaks through the front door and captures Laura. Kayla grabs a kitchen knife, but old John is a slick one. He starts playing knick-knack paddywhack to lure Kayla and Maddie outside, who think their dad is just outside playing music, I guess. They run to Sean's car, only to find presents in the back seat and their mother bound and gagged in the trunk. John swings his axe into Laura's side, gets in the car, and drives towards the girls, chasing them back into the house, as we see them find their daddy on the porch on the way back in. He eventually finds the 2 girls back in the bedroom, hiding under the bed. He tells them it's okay to be scared and that his name's John. He explains to them that he grew up in the house and he's been watching Laura's family during each of their annual trips. He continues to speak cryptically about the storybook's significance and how he used it to read as a child. Then suddenly flips the bed and, like a Diddy party, allegedly, uses some chloroform to knock them both out. And the next set of scenes is the ending.
Good job, Laura. Yelling at an intruder to get out of the house. I'm sure that'll work. So will yelling, you have a gun. I do got to admit, yelling, get the fuck out of here. I do like that a lot more. Should have just started off with that one. Owen shows up randomly again, but yet again, someone with no awareness. You see a mother panicking in the window. The crashed vehicle. Give me a break, man. I thought the axe to the head, it looked gnarly, but something looked off visually about it. I don't know. I am scared for these little girls seeing their mother snatched to the window and then being all alone. Not good, Bob. These 2 little girls just grabbed the biggest kitchen knife known to man. My goodness. I know he kind of mentioned that joke to Sean Whalen about the knife used in the milk commercial, whatever. I think that's the actual biggest knife what these girls grabbed. The music box randomly playing is dumb. All it was there for was to get the girls to the car to find their mom tied up in the trunk. Man. Of course, the killer hits Laura in the hip with the axe. I'm sure she's dead and won't show up later. These girls are terrible final girls. I'm just being so mean to these little kids. They make too much noise. They run up the stairs, revealing they did by screaming so much and slamming doors. 0 on the awareness scale. And of course, it's John, the missing kid. This feels like a ripoff to me of The Boy somewhat, to be honest. And chloroform scene is so scary just as an uncle to watch. Scary as hell, and I gotta admit, John does look horrifying as a villain.
Yeah, like I already mentioned, I was fully expecting the killer to be Owen. Poor guy, we barely got to see him. I was wrong. I fell for the red herring. Moment was too big, shit down my leg, or a piss down my leg, whatever. For me, shit fits better, so what can I say? This fucking doll, man. I'm tired of seeing this fucking doll. Fuck these dolls, dude. And this book gets worse and worse every time somebody opens it. What kind of magical book is this shit? Anyway, I will say, Scholid. God, I can't speak tonight or any night. Solid jump scare grabbing the mom through the window here. Way better effects than the original Nightmare on Elm Street dragging a mom through the window. I can tell you that much. But anyway, these poor kids, man, it is very tense and very, I am worried for their safety because I'm invested in them as characters. I do like that we have a movie that has them fighting back. While we kind of have the don't go out there phase, I mean, you do at some point have to fight back, and I do commend the kids here. You know, Nico, you mentioned the music box randomly playing. What the fuck was that? Like, where did that come from? How did that happen? Like, super confusing to me. I mean, it helps, like, the creepiness factor, but then I have to be like, wait a minute, what the hell was that? Like, why was that playing? So that's kind of all I got out of it. This part of the movie is where the tension ramps up, though. It's much more creepy, much more, just terrifying, for lack of a better term, because I couldn't imagine at that age being in a situation like that. Very creepy. I will say I was not expecting our guy to talk here. That threw me way off. I was expecting super silent killer. Didn't get that. Very creepy. I actually liked that. It made a little bit of story and explanation. Not enough, but at least there's a little bit there. This guy's been here every year because he's obsessed with a book about a mouse. What the fuck is going on with this guy? This guy's not wired the right way. I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's all I had.
Oh, hey, random stranger from earlier. He's back. So he's not the killer. Surprise. Surely nothing bad will happen to him and he'll rescue them, right? Wrong. Axe to the dome. And then he points at her like he's Babe Ruth calling a shot. That was pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. Like, imagine killing someone and then just pointing at your next victim.
Great Bambino point, baby.
Then he pulled her through the window. Much better looking here than the similar scene in Nightmare on Elm Street, gotta say. And now these two little jits are on their own. Got to chalk it up as a loss at this point. No way they survive unless the killer just completely pisses down his leg. And it's kind of looking like that's what's going to happen when he axes mom in the kidney and lets the girls make a run for it. But they're dumb little kids and don't know how to be quiet and hide. They hide under the bed, a.k.a. the most obvious hiding place ever, and whimper when he gets close like true morons. I don't know, man. I'm just ready for the finish.
All right, here it is. We open up to the same shots we saw in the open of the lake and abandoned vehicles, but now we have some context. And we see Sean's eyes and arms are now attached to the mannequin. Sewing, cooking, this motherfucker could teach home ec. I mean, I guess my guy's pulling a leather face, but instead of wearing the skin, he's making dolls. I mean, shit, I don't know. It's 2018. Our killers have different needs nowadays. I don't know. We see John approach Laura, who is still alive, and John wiggles the axe in her side and removes it, leaving her to bleed out. She'll probably die. I won't come back, I'm sure. He approaches Maddie's body, who lays beside Kayla's and bends down to measure her eyeballs, to which then he proceeds to carve the eye holes out of the wooden effigy thing, I guess. I don't know what the hell to call them. Dolls? I don't really know. But we see his intention then is to next cut her eyeball out and place it in the wooden figure. He takes one of the dolls and removes its arm, approaches Maddie, who is still playing knocked out, and rears his axe to cut her arm off when he hears a music box playing. So Laura can apparently see all this and waited until her daughter was just about to get her arm fucking cut off before hoping that he gets distracted at this exact moment by a music box. All the way in the car, by the way. I mean, she took all this time to set all this stuff up. What an awful plan. But anyway, he goes to investigate, and having miraculously recovered, Laura's distracted him enough to attack him with his own axe. The two struggle with, and I can't be sure, it all happened so fast, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in here there was the old dick twist. She overpowers this man who could carry a human onto a roof somehow and stabs him in the back as he collapses to the ground. No double tap. She's not a Zombieland fan either, apparently. But she reunites with the girls, and they all get into Sean's car as we get the voiceover again of the story. Laura clocks John still laying on the ground with the axe, but as she drives away, the engine stalls. Laura manages to restart it, but this time, when they look back, John's body has disappeared.
Yeah, womp womp. This transition from the last set of scenes to this one, this feels like The Strangers too, as well to me. Having such grim moments, then it's the next morning, daylight. Gave me Strangers vibes. Damn, John, you left the axe in Laura's hip all night. I bet that hurt. I'm supposed to believe John stopped killing these girls because he heard a music box in the distance. Movies be movieing, as my guy says. Mama Laura, Randy Orton's Johnny out of nowhere, slicing and dicing. We all saw this coming, right? Another instance of movies be movieing. Laura suffered a gnarly axe chop to her hip, and she's moving around way too fluidly to me. Be realistic, movies. Damn. she's got a slight hobble as she walks to her girls, and I understand, having adrenaline, fight or flight, parent mode kicks in, but give me a goddamn break. She ain't walking like that. Car sputters, and Johnny, who must be Chad Meeks under the costume, is gone. All right, man, I'm done. Let's wrap this joint up.
Jesus.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought Laura was super dead. Like, I thought the kids were gonna make it out of this on their own. He goes to cut this little girl's arm off, and I'm like, oh God, please don't fucking show this on screen. And then he gets scared by a music box. Not scared, but distracted. Come on, dog. Like, I know there's supposed to be some tie there, and that's fine. If they ever explained it at all. They did not. Just music sound box in the back. All right, man. Maybe there was some stuff cut it. Again, tonight I cannot talk, guys. Sorry about that. This, like, family of wooden statues or whatever you call it kind of feels like some weird inverted Leatherface scenario or something, because he's putting people's eyes. Like, I don't know, just a little odd. Very creepy thought. Like, I think that could work as an idea, but I don't know if they really pull it off. I will say there's some good tension here as Laura saves her daughters. I mean, I rescind my hatred of her slightly, because she at least fights back, saves the day, and gets her kids out of there. But I got my man Sean killed, man. He was just trying to make it. Had to work. I know I hated on him earlier, but I don't know. I feel like I got to stick up for somebody. Somebody's got to stick up for somebody around these parts. That's all I had.
Yeah, I don't have much here. It annoyed me that he kept looking back at the girls and she kept playing asleep multiple times. Like, if you don't position your shit so that you can work on whatever it is you're doing and see them at the same time, the hell kind of Tom and Jerry shit is this? Like, we're taught in basketball, ball to man. When you're on defense, you want to see your man and the ball at all times. So what the fuck are you doing? Move. Then the music starts playing, and he's got his breadcrumb trail leading to the car. He's such an unserious villain. A real killer would have made sure the mom was dead, or at least closed the fucking trunk. But she takes him out, and we get the cringeworthy child narration from earlier. And, of course, he disappears as they drive off. Needless to say, I'm thankful it's over.
I think the open with that child narration hit a little bit different before you knew what was going on. I like it. It worked for me at the very beginning, but yeah, not at the end.
Well, to me, what made it cringeworthy is not the child narration necessarily itself. It's the way it sounded, like the echoey effect or whatever that was on it. I hated that shit.
I gotcha.
It was much better at the beginning than the end. I agree with that.
Gotcha. You want to jump to social media? We don't have anything on Facebook.
I got the old Instagrams pulled up. Utterly horrific commented. It's only one comment, so Dustin, you can go next right after this. Absolutely a hidden gem of the home invasion subgenre. Love it. All right. Respect.
Okay. We have one whole comment. It is from T. Carter, horror_disciple. Good one. I watched it years ago just on a hunch, mainly because of Yvonne Strahovski. See, I called her Hannah earlier because I don't know how to say her last name. But anyway, he said, love her and Dexter, and I enjoyed it. Both of my daughters are horror fans, so I watched it again with them, and they loved it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, showing our fun facts, guys. Brian, you got any fun facts you want to share?
I do not.
Dustin, do you have any fun facts you'd like to share?
Well, just two. The one has already been said. Real life sisters Abigail Piniowski and Anna Piniowski play sisters in this film. And then the other one is Ryan McDonald, who was the masked man in this movie. He was in On the Court of Three with the great Henry Winkler, who was, of course, in Scream with David Arquette.
Nope.
Nice. That was a good pull.
Fonz.
Yeah. So this movie, I found multiple different places I looked. I found anywhere from $3 to $4 million on the budget, depending on where you look. Pretty low budget film there. Only grossing worldwide $544,674 worldwide. So not quite a big box office smash success, although it did do well on multiple streaming platforms as far as viewers.
Yeah, it's on the cock, so you can go watch it for
I believe it was on. All right, buddy. I believe it was on Netflix at one point as well.
Peacock.
Yeah,
talking about Peacock here.
I watched it on Peacock too.
All right, let's jump into our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. I'll kick us off. Favorite kill. Oh Lord, do I have a favorite kill? Really didn't care for any of them. I'll go with the husband, even though it is kind of cheesy, like Brian mentioned. Does he got a forklift out there to pick this son of a gun up on there? I like the reveal, no eyes. I thought that was a good touch. Least favorite kill, I want to go with Johnny. Is he dead? I don't know. He should have been. But no, for real, though, I'm going to go with Owen just because the dude has no awareness. Like, dude, there's a mother, like, screaming frantically. You saw a parked vehicle that was wrecked, and you can't hear a guy sneaking up on you. Give me a break. He deserved it. Be a man. All right, I kind of went into how I feel about the movie. I'm not the biggest fan. Like Dustin mentioned at the beginning, it's not the most god-awful thing we've ever reviewed on here, but I gave it a 5. It's just a movie to me.
Okay. Let me go ahead and knock mine out real quick. Favorite kill to me was the Good Samaritan, whatever you said his name was. I agree. His character was a dumbass and had no awareness, but he got an axe to the head and we at least got to see it. Least favorite kill was Sean because man took forever getting there. He couldn't protect his family once he did, and we didn't even get to see the kill on screen. As far as my final thoughts on the rating, not great, just not a fan. Felt like a cheaply made movie, which, as Mike said, was, I guess. That's not a shot at the budget because there's plenty of movies with a low budget that feel much better in quality. The characters were all dumb. The killer wasn't nearly as menacing or scary as he should have been. Everything was predictable. And I really hated that color grading. I really hated the way the movie looked. The movie looked like several different movies that we've seen before just put together. You mentioned The Strangers. It looks like, there's parts of it that can be drawn similarities to the Babadook with the storybook. There's just so many things that I feel like they tried to imitate in this movie. It didn't really work, but it's not the worst thing I've seen even this year. It's just a very basic B horror movie. I give it a 4.
All right. Go ahead and go. My favorite kill was actually Nico's least favorite, which is Owen. Like, I like the axe to the back there. I mean, I know he had no awareness, but I mean, hey, man, we're not playing Madden out here. This is a horror movie. I don't know. I don't really have a least favorite kill, I guess. I mean, if we're counting John, I guess. I mean, it's satisfying, but I don't know. I would have done it differently, I guess. All right. Like I said in my open, I think the movie is fine. I think it has some positives. The way it's shot, I actually like the color grading as well. I actually like the score as well too. Like, I think maybe they overuse it a bit, but it does help with the pacing of the film. I think they do a decent job, and I think some of the acting is pretty good. I just think it lacks the story, even though it does try. But for the runtime that it had, they didn't quite pack enough in there as far as giving me the backstory of this killer, why he's here, how he's able to set up all these, not booby traps, but like set up all this stuff, why he's after them, why Laura's face isn't scratched out. Like, we don't really get answers. And I do think because of that, it lacks some of the logic. Now, as someone who likes Home Invasion, I actually like a motiveless killer, but since they tried to explain it away, you got to explain it away. Like, you can't just expect me to fill in the dots, and it didn't work. So I still think it's fine. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just fine. I gave it a 5.5.
Okay, let me read mine, and then I'll read Dana's that she sent in. But I just, like I said earlier, I immediately related to these people. Having a little girl, kids in general. But the choices throughout, especially from Laura, to put it lightly, just frustrated the hell out of me. Sean's death was dumb to me. I mean, the after effects were good, but the death to me is bleh. The ending seems rushed, not really thought out. The kids don't really ever really feel in danger to me, especially at the end. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. It's not a terrible movie, but I don't know. It's not one that I'll probably ever watch again. I'm going to give it a 4.75. And if you haven't seen it, go check out the sequel to this as Laura changes her name to Hannah, ditches her kids, and meets a guy named Dexter Morgan in season 7 of Dexter. Oh, my favorite kill was Owen, and my least favorite kill was Sean because it was off screen. I liked Owen's death actually with the axe being shown going in there. Dana has sent a list of pros and cons and then kind of gave her rating and stuff. So as far as the pros go, scared the shit double underline out of me the first time that she watched it. Secluded lake house, runtime, it sustained suspense, and Yvonne Strahovski. Okay. Cons, The axe not killing Laura, I get that. The final scene was in daylight. The ending did not provide closure. Where's the sequel? Well, I just told you where the sequel was. She leaves, and then she becomes Hannah, ditches her kids, and goes to meet Dexter Morgan. She gave it a rating of a 7.5. And she had the same favorite and least favorite kill as I did.
Okay. All right.
All right. So that gives the four of us as a show a composite score of 4.8125. Internet Movie Database has it at a 5.3. Rotten Tomatoes, 33%.
Hey, I was right there with the Internet Movie Database. Let's go. Let's go.
All righty, Danny, we appreciate your donation
Yes,
like
thank you,
always.
Dana.
Speaking of blood donors, we'll go ahead and shout out our blood donors. We really appreciate y'all. Y'all really do take a big burden off of us. Legendary blood donors, Dana Tucker. We still have 2 more film reviews of hers to do. Big shout out to Dana. Legendary blood donor, Anita Russell. We'll be taking on her review very soon as well. Final girl donors, Christina Tower and Jenny Conway. We really appreciate y'all. Camper level reoccurring, Nina, the Horror Movie Crew podcast. Alex Seligson, Steve Schmidt, Michelle Mirza, and Chris Manley. Camp Council recurring, Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis from Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, and Max K. Hey, we really appreciate y'all, and like I said, y'all help us pay these bills. It means a lot to us because times are hard right now, so thank you. Guys, any final thoughts on He's Out There before we just close out this blood donor review?
No, thank you, Dana.
Nope.
I appreciate the donation.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you very much. As always, thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Solid one watch, but
Yeah, sure.
that's it for me, respectfully, of course. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and y'all have a good one.
So, next.
Just want to remind everybody,